What's up everybody, my name's Big Cam and welcome back to another Marvel 1/6 scale Hot Toys unboxing video, and today we are talking about Avengers Endgame Thor. And on the streets some people call this man BRO-THOR because the giant and muscular and super chiseled Chris Hemsworth decided to come over to the dark side of the fat boys. And he was really such a bro because he was, you know, sticking up for Korg while he was playing Fortnite, right? And he was just sitting around the house drinking booze. Real bro energy, real frat house energy over there with Korg, Meek, and BRO-THOR. But he still showed up to fight in Avengers Endgame, gut and all. And I always loved this look on him because he's got two different colored eyes. He's got, you know, this weaved beard, like a really long beard, but, you know, made into a braid. And he's got long disheveled hair. He kind of looks like the dude from fucking the dude abides. You guys know what I mean? Friggin' Jeff Bridges from Big Lebowski. But yeah, not a bad looking cover though. Just kind of depicting Thor from Avengers Endgame. Thor on the side, legal information around the back. Thor on the side again. And yeah, let's slide off the top of this bad boy. Okay, what do we got? We got Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. It looks like a whole boatload of lightning effects, so that probably means there's batteries somewhere here in here, and there's a light up feature in him, which sucks. I've been very happy I haven't had to deal with light up features and screws and little tiny batteries my big fat fingers can't deal with. You know, I struggle big time with those things, and my Iron Man, a couple other ones have them, but like this on the other hand should be interesting because I have a couple other Thors and none of them are fat. So I'll have some decent comparison in the comparison section. I'll have a couple different Thors we can toss him next to see, you know, what the biggest drastic differences are and if they really did beef him up, you know what I mean? Like, I'm curious to see how much beefier he is compared to some of these other figures, because sure, I have some big figs like Venom and Hulk, but they're not necessarily fat. But let's pop open this box and take out Thor and take a better look at the figure itself and see what this bad boy comes with. Alright, so we've started to dig into this box a little bit here, and we got some of his light up, or I think some of these light up, but his like lightning effect pieces, and we'll take a closer look at those in a moment. But we got the figure here in front of me, and he's got his beautiful draping cape, and the materials look super soft, kind of feels like the same material as the cape of the Avengers Endgame Loki. On the inside it's black, nice soft, yeah, it looks great. Thor, pull off the plastic on his head. Head sculpt looks pretty insane. Hold on, I need a flashlight here. Wow, so I'll get a closer look at this when we're looking at him up close and personal in a different angle. But the figure does have the two different colored eyes from Avengers Endgame. That's so cool. Long flowing hair, the braided up beard, does also have a big old gut. Oh man, kind of has like the original Thor armor as well, like with the, but it's kind of like a black scaly instead of like the original like silver scaly black gauntlets now. Kind of interesting to see how his outfit has evolved. It's fairly similar, but it has evolved quite a bit, and especially through Ragnarok and now back to this, where this is kind of back to like more of his traditional look, but more dark, and you know, we're fighting Thanos that killed everybody, you know, so it is a little bit darker of a movie. But yeah, let's pull the flexibility of the arms, pull some plastic out, got some ratchets in the shoulders, big old armor on the torso, on the other arm, pull some plastic out, flip open the cape. It does look like he has an on-off switch on his back with the light up features, and I'll have to put in a whole bunch of batteries in the Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, which we'll take a look at in a second. Lack of ass. But yeah, not such bad flexibility, not such good legs flexibility, but good enough, good enough. You can get him in a couple different poses. Most of the posing I'll want to do is mostly upper body stuff, so it does have a little bit of twist action, so that's good. Can we get the arm to bend? Yeah, get big old muscles, big old Thor muscles, big old shoulders. Yeah, it does look proportionally all right, and it does look fairly tall. I wonder if how he compares to the other Thor figures height-wise. But yeah, head tilt. Want to be careful with the hair. Don't want to damage it. But yeah, I like this figure quite a bit. But let's see how it looks with batteries and a bunch of light up effects and Mjolnir and the Stormbreaker in his hands, and let's pull everything out of his box and see everything that this Thor from Avengers Endgame comes with. So everything pulled out of the box, we have Thor from Avengers Endgame sitting in front of you and standing just with a neutral pose, just how he comes out of the box with two fist hands, but I've just taken the plastic off of his fists. But first thing we're going to take a closer look at is his lightning effect pieces, and you can see these ones obviously go on his chest buckle attachment, whatever you want to call those, tassel things, these little circular attachment points. So, you know, his body must have some lightning effects as well, or these things are just like sensitive to UV light, so they kind of glow in the dark, or sensitive to like white light or something like that. I don't know if I'll ever have a white light and be doing stuff like that. You know, I barely even turn on my light up effects as is, but I probably will attach some of these lightning effects, like the ones that will probably go on Stormbreaker, or the one that goes on Mjolnir. And then I'm not sure what these ones are, but hey, might as well figure it out and attach them just for shits and gigs one time anyways. But my favorite parts are definitely Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, and how they both look. Now, they're not as heavy as the 2012 Mjolnir, right? Like that one was definitely die cast, or whatever it was made out of. It was heavy. This is nice and light. This is fairly heavy, but I think it's just like the big old stick and then just the two giant pieces at the top there. So I expected this one to be heavy, but that end piece pops off, and there is a little screw panel on the bottom of Mjolnir, so there's light up effects in both of these as well. And Stormbreaker has this like clicking button at the top, and this thing pops off, and you can get into the battery section. I don't have fingernails, but you can get to it from right there. Not a bad weapon for the God of Thunder. And then he comes with a couple different hands, some splayed out hands, reaching, grabbing, some neutral, just relaxed hands. And then he has hands that he can put on Mjolnir for either side, and hands that he can put around Stormbreaker for either side. So you can rep him which way you would like, you know, whatever suits your fancy. If you want this one on the right, and that one on the left, or that one on the left and this one on the right, I think I'm going to opt for, what is that, right hand, left hand, for good old trusty faithful in the right, and then the new girl in the left. But let's see if I can't get this bad boy into a couple different poses for you guys, and see if I can't get the light up effects working. All right, so taking a look at a few poses, we have him standing up regular with just two relaxed hands. We have him in a bit of a flexing pose, like he's big fat Thor, but he's showing off his big strong arms. We have him just standing there with Stormbreaker, which is a nice little pose, nice little touch if you want to just stand there casual in your display. We also have him holding Stormbreaker, calling Mjolnir, and then we have them both together with Stormbreaker and Mjolnir, and I tried to get them in that crossing each other, kind of bracing one with the other that he did against Thanos. And then finally with all of the light up effects in the lightning effects on him and the weapons that he carries. And then now sitting in front of you how it is now. And it is absolutely beautiful. And I did fight with this thing for about an hour, trying to get all of the batteries into Mjolnir, into Stormbreaker, into Thor himself. But I think it was kind of worth it. And I think this will be, for all the effort I just put in, this will at least be how I display him for the time being at the moment, you know? So it's not too bad having to flip off the off switches behind him and stuff like that. So this one, I actually might use the light up features every now and again, but
it will be like this, you know, kind of in this taking off flying pose, like the lightning's charging him up. But let's take a look at some other of the Thor figures as well, with a little bit of a comparison section, and have a couple of Avengers Endgame figures and a couple different Thors put next to this bad boy and see the comparison of the two. All right, so 3 Thors in frame. On the far right, we got Avengers 2012 Thor, which I just did an unboxing for last week. If you guys missed that unboxing video, go back and check that out. But the face sculpt, not as good as the other 2 figures, but I do really love that gray, scaly suit. And the hammer he came with, the Mjolnir hammer, is real die-cast and heavy. And, you know, if you pick it up and feel it, it's like sturdy. Kind of like how you want Mjolnir to come, you know. And it comes with that other accessory as well, with the Tesseract carrier. But my favorite of the 3 is still probably Thor from Thor Ragnarok. You know, just Gladiator Thor with the helmet, the shield, the swords. You know, it's just so cool. But he doesn't come with a Stormbreaker. Doesn't come with a Mjolnir. Doesn't really have any light up effects either. But he does have like this unique cape and unique, you know, coloring and different hair, and you know, can wear the helmet, cannot wear the helmet, has a hammer, you know, has a couple other weapons, you know, so that one's really cool. And I do love my Thor Ragnarok figures, and still probably my favorite movie look for him is Thor Ragnarok. But this Avengers Endgame fig with all the tricked out lighting and the hammer and the Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, like, it just looks really good, and I can't wait to get it onto the shelf next to Tony Stark back there that you might be able to see in his snapping pose, and have him next to the other Avengers Endgame figure that I have. And I believe those two side by side will look really good. So we'll take a look at that in a moment on the shelf. But I do want to take one more closer look at this Thor from Avengers Endgame. So yeah, with the swap out little chest light up effects, you can also swap them out and have just these normal chest pieces that, you know, would come on the figure normally for just how he was chilling, standing there. If you don't want the lightning effects, just some black little tassel bits. But I did want to just see if I could get in here real quick on a bit of a face shot and see if you guys can't see his 2 different colored eyes. Yeah, so there's a nice shot of his face there with the scar and the 2 different colored eyes, and one brown, one blue. Just a nice little detail I wanted to point out, that I did say I'd get a nice close-up shot for you guys, and the hair details and the braided beard and the little tassel at the bottom of the beard. Like, just a really crazy figure. But let's toss him on the shelf and see what he's looking like in his new permanent, well, temporary, but his new home on the shelves in the Lego and Hot Toys display room. Oh, wow. I didn't think they were going to look that good next to each other, but with Thor now on the shelf with the light up effects next to Tony, I mean, I guess I could have turned on his light up effects for the shot too, but his are harder to get to, you know, like Stormbreaker, you can kind of click a button on top. Mjolnir, you can just turn. There's a little switch right on the back of Thor. You don't have to pop a thing off and then switch, you know, like with the Tony Stark armor. But, you know, Tony doesn't have a cape covering his switch on his back, so that's kind of why. But yeah, doesn't that look cool? And only if I had one more Avengers Endgame figure that would complete my trio of the big 3 for the Avengers in Avengers Endgame. And not that big guy over there, no. But I have one more Avengers Endgame figure that will be coming out in an unboxing video tomorrow. Stay tuned for Captain America from Avengers Endgame, and that unboxing video coming tomorrow. And hopefully these guys will have enough room to fit one more in there and have a third buddy of Chris Evans' Captain America. And I can't wait to do that unboxing. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate it so much. Please think about following my other social medias. Links down in the description down below. Thank you for watching. Please, if you'd like to support, like this video, subscribe if you're new, drop a comment down below, share this video with a friend. All great ways to help the channel. Thank you guys so much. My name's Big Cam once again, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.